Hey folks, this is JR with DIY Prepper. Welcome to the channel. One of the biggest challenges that we preppers face is having enough room for all our stuff. Most families have this problem, but it's a lot worse for us since we have everything that most other folks do, plus additional supplies to survive the alpacalypse or whatever horrible thing may come our way. So, as preppers, we have to be smart with what we have in our homes and how we organize it. If you do this, you'll have more room for additional preps and also increase your quality of life since you won't have to worry about face planting because you tripped over a can of freeze-dried food. One of the most effective ways to make room for more preps is to get rid of stuff. While doing this can be hard in some cases, most of us would probably be a lot better off if we had less stuff. I can tell you for me and my family, clutter is a big problem. My wife and I both have our own businesses, and then we have a 5-year-old on top of that. And having all that stuff in a normal size house can get stressful at times. If you have nicer things that you can get rid of that you'd rather not throw away, then donating them is a good option. You can go the easy route and drop them off at like a local thrift store, or you can try to find someone who could use them. That can include clothes, furniture, or even older prepping gear that you've upgraded past, like camp stoves. People like young married couples or even college students moving away from home would probably be happy to get them. If you'd rather make a little money off your old stuff, then you could have like a garage sale or yard sale. Doing that may also be a good way to get to know your neighbors a little better because people tend to come out of the woodwork for that. Then if you have any books, you could always take those to a used bookstore. You're probably not going to get a whole lot out of those, but you could potentially clear out a little space at home and also make some pocket change in the process. For more high value items, local social media sales groups can be excellent places to find buyers. Just be careful when you go to make the exchange because people have been robbed doing that sort of thing. One good thing though about going that route is that you will get to keep more of your money than if you sold it through an online service like eBay. For things you'll be throwing away, if you don't have a lot of clutter, just add an extra bag to your trash bin each time you have garbage collection. That's a good way to get rid of like old greeting cards, unused kitchen gadgets, and other things that have just built up over time. But even if you need to do more serious cleaning, you may still have some viable options. Like where I live, you can take a load of trash in the back of your truck for free once a month to the dump using your water bill. We recently did that to get rid of some larger boxes and other items that were taking up space in our garage. It's a really good way to get rid of larger items that won't fit in your regular trash bin. Of course, whether you can do that or not will depend on what's offered in your area and whether you live in the city limits, but even if you can't do it for free, it may not cost a whole lot. Then you may also be able to rent a dumpster for a few days. That's something that I found out about fairly recently where I live. Just do a little research and figure out what's offered where you live. Another way that you can save space for preps is to take advantage of the wall space in your home. Over the years, I've installed various shelves and other things in my home to try and squeeze as much storage space as I could out of it. These are useful, but they're not really easy to move or adjust. But recently I've had the opportunity to test a new kind of wall storage, an aluminum slat wall. This is made by Hold Up Displays. It's a great way to keep your most important gear organized and ready to go at a moment's notice. And I would like to thank Hold Up for sending us their wall panels and hooks to take a look at today. I'm sure most of y'all have seen something similar to this at different kinds of stores. Slat walls are just sort of a nicer version of the old pegboards that a lot of us use to hold things like tools in our garage. But what makes these different is that the panels are metal instead of recycled wood fibers. This makes them very strong. As you can see here, I got a ton of gear on this particular wall. I've got a lot of these 23-inch steel shelves, and each one of them can support up to 50 pounds. On this one, I have a military water can, which I believe weighs around 48 pounds total, and that shelf's doing just fine. Then over here, I have a Fat 50 can filled with Freedom Seeds, and then also have some books and a couple other cans over there. And those books are what I consider to be my most important reference materials, things like the Encyclopedia of Country Living, Survival Medicine Handbook. And then on the other side here, I have a couple other shelves with some, like a smaller power station and just other stuff that I would want to have during a power outage. Then they also have these plate carrier hangers. I don't have plate carriers on them, but they also work well for things like your bug out bag, like I have here. Then I also have some load-bearing equipment on the other side, and like the shelves, those are rated for 50 pounds per set. Then underneath I also have another shelf holding my boots so that I can get to those easily if I need to bug out. Then I have my kukri sitting on what were originally designed to hold handheld pew-pews, but as you can see, they work really well for larger knives and then also other tools as well. You can set them up to hold different sizes, and you can also rotate them to whatever angle you want them to be at. They are padded, so you don't have to worry about them marring whatever you're storing or displaying on them. And then you can also get some regular display hooks, like the one that I just showed. It's padded to prevent damage to your gear, and these work well for holding things like maybe your EDC bag, or I have another one over here holding a jacket, one over there holding my earmuffs, and then there's also some hats up top. Then another hanger that I think is really cool is their helmet stands. As you can see here, I don't have helmets, but they also work really well for things like gas masks. So now, if someone poops the bed at a nearby industrial facility and we have another stinking ammonia leak, my masks and filters are right next to each other, ready to go. Then they also have hangers for longer pew-pews, magazines, and even archery equipment. And installing one of these isn't difficult at all. Just take your time figuring out where your studs are and getting the first row correct. Because if your bottom row's level, then everything else should be fine after that. I really like that they sent self-drilling screws and a jig to make installing them a lot easier. The jig holds the screw in the right position and angle so that it'll go straight into the panel and into the stud. Each additional row just stacks right on top of the row before it, and if you have to connect panels end to end like what I did here, then they also include joiner pieces to help keep everything aligned properly. Once you have the joiner piece in place, just use some sort of rubber mallet to gently tap all the pieces together. Since my house has 16 on-inch center studs, each panel had a total of 6 2-inch screws to secure it into the studs, which is another reason why I think these are so strong. When it comes to hanging things on the wall, adding and moving hooks is very easy. This will allow you to change your setup over time to maybe accommodate new gear, or also if you find out you use something more than something else, you can always just swap it out. Then a lot of the hooks also come with hanger clips to help keep them in place. Now, I will admit that what I have here is probably a little extravagant. They were kind enough to send me enough slat wall panels that I can use this as my new video backdrop, which I'm really excited about, especially for my second channel. I'll be posting a video over there in the next couple of days, and you'll be able to see this setup with a wide range of pew-pews and other fun items it was designed to hold. But you can get these in pretty much any size that you want. They have several pre-made configurations that you can check out on their website, some of which even have like camo or American flag prints. And you can even make one in a custom size, as long as it's in 1 foot increments side to side and 6-inch increments up and down. You can do pretty much anything that you want to do. You could do an entire room bigger than what I did, or you can do just maybe a small place on one wall. And like I said earlier, this is a great choice for first-line gear that you want to have ready at all times. You could install it in like a safe room or basement, or if you're hilariously loaded, a bunker. You could have a full-on bat cave setup going on, and it would also look awesome in a man cave too, or she shed. But if you're wanting something a little more budget-friendly, Holdup also has hooks and racks that can mount directly onto your wall. Overall, I think Holdup, they have some really good options for a lot of different price ranges. So if you want to check out what they have, then be sure to use the link in the description below to do that. And also, before we go any further, I would like to have a moment of remembrance for the old brick wall, because I'll be using the new backdrop going forward. So, moment of remembrance, please. Then another option for keeping your preps more organized is standalone shelving. My family uses a lot of these, and some of our favorites are wire shelving units. These are nice since they're relatively inexpensive and you can find them almost anywhere, including local big box and hardware stores, and then also they don't cost a whole lot of money either. They're fully adjustable, you can put shelves anywhere that there's a 1-inch increment, and that makes them nice for storing a wide range of items. Then, since they have wire shelves rather than solid boards, they don't gather as much dust as something like a bookshelf would. That being said, the items on the shelves will obviously gather dust, but any dead space on the shelves themselves will not. Now, if you have larger items that you need to store, then garage shelving units are perfect for that. We picked up a couple towards the end of last year to hold things that we don't use very often, but we didn't want to get rid of either. They work really well for holding tools, paint cans, and then other items that you may not want to keep indoors. However, there's also nothing wrong with regular bookcase style shelving either. You can use these in areas of your home that may see visitors to keep non-preparedness items organized or displayed, because really organization is a house-wide thing. If you have the rest of your stuff organized, that'll help you with your preps as well. Another way that you can keep your preps more organized or free up space for additional preps is to use creative locations around your home, and in some cases these may also be able to do double duty as hiding spots. Places like under your bed and other pieces of furniture are common places to keep preparedness supplies. Depending on the height of your bed, you could even remove its slats and use several 5-gallon buckets instead of box springs, and then set your mattress right on top of those. But you may want to put a piece of plywood between the buckets and your mattress just to make it a little more comfortable and prevent the mattress from sagging in certain spots. You could also get bed risers that'll raise your bed slightly to help accommodate taller storage containers. Plastic totes are another thing that work well for under-bed storage, since they'll help keep dust bunnies out of your stuff and provide at least some level of protection from minor flooding. And I really like plastic totes overall. You can get them in a lot of different sizes for storing in different locations, and if you get ones with a solid color, people won't be able to see what's inside of them. That's good for keeping things in places like a garage where people may be able to see inside of them, or if you live in an apartment that may have maintenance guys or management come through occasionally. A really good time to pick those up is after Christmas. Stores will usually have red and green ones left over, and they may put them on sale. But really, those aren't too expensive at other times of the year either. Even though these are transparent or have a transparent lid, they work really well for keeping tools or other gear in the back of your truck if you have like a tonneau cover or a camper shell. We used some of those on our huge road trip that we took to Idaho last March, and on that trip we dealt with rain and snow, and those totes did an excellent job keeping water that leaked into the bed of the truck away from the gear that we had stored inside of them. If you have a garage, you could design a large drawer or slider system for your plastic totes as well. This will allow you to store a ton of gear, keep it organized, and also have it relatively accessible. But also don't forget other storage locations, like in between or behind furniture. Water containers like water bricks and military water cans are thin, and they can easily slide into places like those. Then, if you have bookshelves, you can store canned goods or other small items behind books or DVDs. Storage cubbies like these are another option. We use them to store our DVDs in like a little shelving unit, and if we needed to, we could keep our DVDs on top and put a row of canned goods underneath. You can also store food and other items in unused luggage as well. And of course, these aren't the only things that you can do to help you keep your preps more organized. So if you want to see more prepper organization tips, then click on this video. Or if you'd like to see places you could hide your preps, then click here. Once again, I'd like to thank Hold Up Displays for sending us some stuff today. Thank y'all for stopping by. Y'all have a good one.